You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Andrew learns from Harry and his wife. A curious state of affairs. The international news, by the enigmatically named Web Desk, tells us Prince Andrew desperate to learn from Prince Harry, Harry's wife's new life. Prince Andrew wants to follow Prince Harry and Harry's wife's US life blueprint. Let's dive in and find out what this is all about. Invariably, of course, these are short articles that come from the international news, but they report Prince Andrew has reportedly been turning to Prince Harry and Harry's wife for their blueprint to a new life. This claim has been issued by an inside source very close to The Sun. Per their findings, Prince Andrew is looking towards Prince Harry and Harry's wife's US blueprint as he forges his very own life outside of the UK. Why? What's that going to be? Whinging about how unfairly you've been treated, whinging about your family members, whinging about the media and the press. Well, we know that Prince Andrew is something of a buffoon, and we know that he too is a narcissist, and therefore, in a sense, it would not be a surprise that he would follow the blueprint, in inverted commas, of Harry and his wife, thinking, well, that seems to have got them a lot of fame and a lot of money, and therefore maybe I could do the same. Of course, what he has to do is look very carefully at how they did it. And how they've done it, basically, is by throwing their family under the bus repeatedly and complaining about their treatment. Of course, Prince Andrew, being governed by his own narcissism and low cognitive function, is unlikely to realise that this isn't going to be a very good strategy for him. It's worked to an extent for Harry and his wife in terms of garnering them infamy and money, but how long that lasts, well, it's quickly becoming apparent that as a consequence of their recent parodying in the South Park episode and the reactions thereafter, that they will be unable to climb back up to the dizzying heights that they once occupied. And that for Andrew, are people really going to offer him any kind of support or interest on the basis of a suspected child molester and child abuser as a consequence of the sex claims that have surrounded him involving Virginia Giuffre? And of course, even if it proves to be the case that that were not true, because of course merely allegations have been made and nothing has been determined in a court of law, there is his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, which of course was particularly ill-judged. There is of course also the way that Prince Andrew behaves. He parts past him when he was interviewed by Emily Maitlis and demonstrated his narcissism in full effect as he showed no remorse and a complete lack of awareness with regard to the circumstances surrounding the allegations made against him. And therefore, if Prince Andrew thinks that the way forward for him is to throw family members under the bus, e.g. Charles has always been a twat, and then to complain about the way that he's been treated, he's not going to find the same level of sympathy, because who on earth is going to offer sympathy to someone who's been accused of messing with children? Furthermore, Harry's wife was able to play a race card. He can't. He remains a member of the white colonizers, as those who are just as equally racist would allege against him. And therefore, him finding a route through all of this in a similar way to Harry and Harry's wife is most unlikely. But remember, that is not going to stop him from thinking that he might be able to do it. Assuming that this suggestion in the article is true, and as always, I leave it for you to determine its veracity, it's likely that, if it is true, that Andrew would think, well, if they've done it, so can I. Why? His narcissism will propel him to do it, and combined with that low cognitive function, he'll fail to see the shortcomings. The source was quoted, the article continues, telling the outlet, Andrew is less bothered than people think about losing his titles and official royal roles. he is thinking about how he can forge a new career, the source also added. He has been keenly keeping an eye on everything Harry and Harry's wife have been doing in America. They have managed to set up a new working life, away from the royal family. And that is something Andrew has been following very, very closely. He is very interested in the businesses and charity side of things, rather than doing anything on Netflix. Even King Charles has reportedly agreed to let his brother focus on new, low-key business endeavours. Accordingly, Andrew, with his sense of entitlement and lack of accountability, is thinking, well, if that half-wit and his wife have managed to make megabucks in the United States, there's a good chance that I can as well. Remember, Prince Andrew feels no shame for his behaviour. He feels no remorse for what's gone on. He operates in an outrageously entitled manner and believes that the riches that they have managed to access could equally be applicable to him also. He, like Harry's wife, fails to read the room, albeit in a different way. He doesn't hold himself out as being kind and empathic. He doesn't hold himself out as being a defender of the oppressed. He's lent more towards the shady deals of being some kind of business broker. And he's likely to believe, as a consequence of his own deluded belief that he's exceptionally good at brokering deals, that the land of opportunity is one where he can find some kind of success because Harry and his wife have done so as well. Will Andrew want some of what has been obtained by Harry and Harry's wife? The answer to that is yes. He wants money. He wants to come back into the fold. He wants recognition. Subconsciously, of course, recognition allows him to assert control over people. So his own narcissism, driven by a sense of entitlement and the absence of accountability, causes him to want to be brought back in. And if he can't achieve that in the United Kingdom, his narcissism may well be suggesting to him, go west, middle-aged man, and see if you can achieve something in the United States. It seems to me, however, that the opportunities may be limited for him. He can't play the victim card. That won't wash with people, and the world has had its fill of whinging royals playing victim cards courtesy of Ginger Bollocks and his handler. But it isn't going to necessarily stop Prince Andrew from wanting the same as what Harry and Harry's wife has achieved, and also, as a consequence of his own grandiosity and level of delusion, believing that he can actually achieve it also. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.